Okay. Oh, it's been a bit. I need to remember how to do this. I think I got everything set up correctly. Hopefully. If something is going horribly wrong, please let me know. Hello, Lucky Dragon. Hello, Hirago. Ruby could Ruby Kayatubi solar pellets. That's close enough. Okay. So the Heide Knight Sword. It's good that I'm doing this because this is a very simple run. At least it should be in theory. Just leveling faith, and that's kind of it for the whole run. I grabbed the Morning Star because I figure it will be better for the Heide Knights than the Broken Straight Sword, at least. I think the R2 should stagger them, hopefully. If not, this is going to be really annoying, but how bad can it be? This might be a new record for earliest death in a stream, though. I am very bad at fighting the Heide Knights. Yeah. Also, I have a lot of excuses for being bad at the game. I've been playing a lot of Vins and a lot of God of War, which means my muscle memory is off, and I haven't played Dark Souls 2 in like 3 weeks. So, if I am bad at the video game, that's why. Get the Fire Longsword, yeah. That does stagger on the R2. So I would be very surprised if the Morningstar doesn't. I should get the bonfire first. I was gonna fight this one, but all of them. I started with one and then went to Chains, Ghost, 2, and now I'm like maybe a quarter into 3, maybe. By rolling with the right stick. I did it in Elden Ring. Chances are I do it here too. Does lighting a bonfire set your spawn in this game? I can never remember in which games it does that and which games it doesn't. Okay, well. Oh, I should also equip this so I don't end up using all my life gems immediately. Alright. I think it does. Okay, great start. I assume... Well, no. I was gonna say, I assume that's a safe attack opportunity, but the Heide Knights are weird, and I don't think there is a safe attack opportunity. Make the other slideshows? You got time. I am excited to do those, though. Oof. Yeah, like I said. Move like the round crack, something like that. I'm sure by the time that I've killed 7 of them to get the sword, that's probably going to be a lot more than that, actually. By the time I've killed 20 of them to get the sword, I'll have their moveset at least somewhat understood. Hello, Nixie. Welcome. This is going to be a fun start to the stream, huh? Wow, I do not have enough stamina for this thing. Ugh. I'm scared. One down. Because they're blind. Yeah, but there being a lore reason doesn't make them easier to fight. Too bad I can't just knock them off the ledge and still get their drop. I was considering, oh my goodness, playing vanilla for this, since you're guaranteed the Heide Knight sword right at the beginning of the game from the first Heide Knight, you know? But I didn't want to play vanilla, so that's why I'm playing Scholar and farming for it instead. I don't think... Oh, whatever. The third attack was greedy, but that's okay. If this takes too long, I'm definitely not against hacking it in by any means. The third, like, overhead... Like, the third hit in this combo, that comes out sometimes, is probably the safest attack opportunity. You can get a backstab off of it sometimes. Oof. Well, I don't want them to hide. That would make it harder to kill them. Ugh, the range on the Morningstar is rough. Okay. Oh, okay. I was really worried it was gonna fall off the ledge. Oh. That's fine. Okay, I didn't use a life gem this time, which means I'm improving. And no sword. I do want the armor as well. I'm not sure how many of them I'm gonna kill before I decide to just hack it in, to be honest. So far, this is tedious, but that's okay. We'll get through it eventually. I wonder if I could change the enemy drop, or if I have to drop something for my heat engine table to work. Great fashion, yeah. Hello, Lily. Welcome. Still haven't seen the third hit in that combo. I don't know why it's so uncommon for them to use. I wonder if it's like positioning based. Oh my goodness. I almost got through this one without a scratch, but not quite. There's 3. On the bright side, this does give me souls, so I'll be able to get at least a little bit of scaling. I'm not... Nixie, if you're still here, you're the person who does all the, like, damage stuff, right? Is it worth it to infuse it if I'm gonna be primarily leveling Faith? Or is it better to not primarily level Faith and not infuse it on average? The attack where they stand still and then smack you, yeah. The instant slash, that one, is the one that gets me most of the time. The like dash forward after standing still does get me sometimes, but at this point I've learned to run away if they're not doing anything. Wonder. Oh, hey, there we go. And nothing. I think I'm getting better at it. Hopefully I don't have to be good at fighting Heide Knights by the time I'm done with this, but we'll see how long this takes. The instant slash is one of those very few moves in any Dark Souls game that just feels bad every time it happens. They are much more common in Elden Ring, in my experience. But actually, as the series went on, they became more common. The charge on Osiris, for instance, or like half of the Nameless King's moveset. I was worried about the range there. Oh, oh. That was a founded fear, I suppose. Why is it being so aggressive this time? Okay, yeah, I want to use R2s because it guarantees they stagger. They don't always stagger off in R1, which makes it a lot more dangerous. Noodles telegraph charge. I don't know, it's not that bad. I don't hate it as much as most people. Like, especially if you just have a shield, it's such a non-issue, but it's so annoying when you don't. I'm gonna do a couple more, and then just hack in the stuff, because... you know, probably not worth being greedy on the old knights. Or whatever they're called. God, speaking of hacking stuff in my Night Rain video that I posted last week, I mentioned that I hacked in my relics, and somebody said they unsubscribed because of that, and I think that's really funny. How dare you cheat to have more fun in a single player video game that doesn't even actually dramatically change the experience. 10 FPS EX Gundyr, yeah. That's great. Oh my god, he did it. Very easy to get a backstab off of that, if they ever do it. Oh. Okay, I was very scared about the range there. Give me a second, please. This one's using Estus. After this one, if it doesn't drop it, I'm gonna hack it in. Along with the armor. Oh. Hey! I didn't have to hack in the weapon, at least. That's pretty cool. I don't remember the full moveset, but we'll figure it out. The spin hit? Yeah. Actually, I don't have my cheat table open. One moment. If I can even remember where I put it. Here it is. Okay. Attach to process. Yes. And then go to the actual thingy. Not if I can remember how to use this. It's been a bit. Okay. Then we gotta drop something. I guess it doesn't really matter what. I have to take this off of my hotbar. I have plenty of these. Oops. Replace that with... Oop. God. It's been a bit since I used this. A Heide Knight. I don't know what the armor is called. I know there's the Great Helm. Okay, chainmail, gauntlets, and leggings. I don't know the durability on these items. I should look that up. Heide Knight's armor. Hopefully Fextra is correct about the durability on them. 90. Okay. I'm gonna trust that without thinking about it. Because that sounds somewhat correct. There's the helmet. I don't know how much it weighs. So I don't know how... or if I'm going to be able to wear the whole thing. But we'll see. Okay. Midnight chainmail. Durability. Yeah, this shouldn't take too long now that I remember how to use this. And then... oof. Oh my goodness, I'm breaking everything. Heide Knight leggings. And one more. Heide Knight gauntlets. Okay, there we go. And that should be the last of the hacking for today. Hello, Flat Cap, welcome. Hopefully, I can wear all this without leveling up my vitality too much. Oh, okay. Alrighty. In light roll range. And since we're here, I'm gonna go fight the Dragon Rider. Just for an extra little soul boost. I know the one-handed moveset is like the up and down, right? Yeah, which is good for crystal lizards. I see a lot of people complaining about it, but with how motion values and stuff work in this game, not two-handing is usually not worth it unless you're very specifically relying on a shield or whatever. Or like obviously using a torch or something. So, while I'm not particularly hateful of the one-handed moveset, there's not really much reason to use it, even if I was. Eadbert Knightson? Well, I've taken his place, so okay. I think I named the character Heide Knight 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hopefully? Oh. He dodged. That's fine damage. We can beat him like this. I would be sad if I failed to beat him with pretty much anything, though, to be honest. Chances are I'm going to get thrown off the platform, though. I should be less greedy. How about... Oof. First of all, my health, but also stamina. I forget this game requires stamina management. I've been playing games that don't require it at all. Committed identity theft. True. We condone identity theft, specifically of fictional characters within Dark Souls. Here. That makes for fun cosplay runs. I don't even know, like, what order I want to do this run in, to be honest. Hello, Ria. Welcome. Because, like... I don't know. Sinner first. I guess going to the,
Please stop this.
Oh my goodness. It's in there somewhere. Going to Brightstone Cove early is probably a good idea for, like, upgrade materials. But otherwise, I guess I can just do the 4 Great Souls in normal order. There we go. And then we'll see what happens. I don't expect to get as far as I usually do in first streams today, but just because I haven't played this game in a bit. And so I'm not very good at it right now. But we'll see how this ends up going. ADP because I'm bad at the game. Perfect. And then we can go, hopefully, beat the Pursuer and Last Giant first try. I think if a Heide Knight sword had exactly the moveset that the Heide Knights use, it would be a much better weapon. That instant slash is a killer. It would be really funny also to have the dash attack with such a long wind-up and everything. I wonder how many people would go flying off ledges using that on accident. Something to do with her specifically? Yeah, it is a very strange mechanic. I do wish there was more stuff similar to that in the other games. Like impersonating a security guard. I think it's more like scavenging. Scavenging for survivability. No, it has a pretty standard straight sword moveset. I think the R1s... I don't know, I know there's some weird stuff about the moveset. Like the R1s being vertical is a less common straight sword moveset, but I'm pretty sure it's still shared by other straight swords. I think it's the running attacks that are copies of, like, axe moveset? An axe moveset or something? I don't know. But no, it's not shared one-to-one with the Heide Knights. Like the... Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Oh well. The R1s. I'm not sure. The Heide Knights don't do that either, actually. I don't think you share a single move with what the Heide Knights do. It's not often I wear armor that isn't either like the Xanthus set, the Lion Witch set, or the armor set that I picked up that is close to the Avatar. Adenosine diphosphate? True. It's the energy source of Dark Souls 2 characters. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The damage is pretty good for this early in the game. I'm not sure how well it's gonna like scale though. I'm sure, I know this weapon has a pretty good reputation of being fairly strong, from being able to get it so early in vanilla, guaranteed. And a lot of people using it because it was from a strong enemy or whatever. I guess a lot like the fire longsword, where it's an early game weapon that is extremely powerful relative to a lot of other things early game, but whether or not it ends up scaling to the end game, as well as, you know, most other weapons, remains to be seen. I'm struggling to come up with weapons to put on the next poll. Right now, what do I have? I don't even remember. Right now I have the Royal Greatsword, the Crescent Axe, and something else. I don't remember. I was thinking of doing the Spitfire Spear, but I want to give myself a little bit more time with the game before I do that. Washing Pole? Okay, well, that's on the list now. Because lightning is arguably the best elemental damage type? Yeah, that's true. Hello, Eth. Welcome. Alright. Yeah, having split damage early on is good in all the games. Actually, I'm not sure if that's true of Dark Souls 3 because of motion values and stuff. It's good in Dark Souls 1 and 2 at least. Okay. I need to buy... do I have any firebombs? No. I need to buy a firebomb. Let's see if I can do this first try. Probably not, but... Actually, I'll give myself 2 tries. I don't remember the exact positioning. You missed, like, me farming for the weapon, and that's it. I think I needed to be further to the right. That's fine. Dark Souls 1 split damage is weird, because you do have... you do have the... Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I am failing to talk. It's been way too long since I've done anything like this. It does have to go through damage calculations twice, so it's worse than you would expect, especially in the DLC, where everything has insane elemental resistances. But in early game, especially, because the numbers are just so high with, like, base damage, in base game, and especially early base game, it's crazy. Oh my god, yeah, Dragon Rider Twinblade. That was one that I actually already had on the list for next week. I love Dragon Rider Twinblade. That's one of my favorite weapons. Dark Souls 2, 3, 4, and 5 don't exist. Dark Souls 2 is very, very good. Dark Souls 3 could not exist, but I like it. Highly recommend Dark Souls 2. Twin Blades are very cool. Is it the Stone Twin Blade that has really high poise, or is it the Dragon Rider? I know the Dragon Rider Twin Blade has fairly high poise damage, especially with the Stone Ring. Stone Ring? The one you get at the very beginning of the game from the Ogre in Things Betwixt. I think it's a Stone Ring. 80% as good as the Red Iron Twin Blade. I don't like the Red Iron Twin Blade's moveset. Therefore, the Dragon Rider Twin Blade is better. That's my take. Yeah, I like all 3, but Dark Souls 2 is probably the one I am most drawn towards in terms of how much enjoyment I can get out of it. Almost on a Zelda 2? Hell yeah. Zelda 2 is rough. I am very bad at it. Zelda 1 is... It's one of those games that's hard only if you don't know what you're doing. Zelda 2 is hard whether or not you know what you're doing. You need to, like, actually have good reaction times and stuff to do good at Zelda 2. Have a love-hate relationship with Zelda 2? Yeah, you and everyone else. I'm interested in it. I've never really, like, gotten into it because I just struggle too much at the beginning of the game and drop it without or before, like, really getting into it and giving it a good shot. Playing the first 2 Zelda games on hardware is... But there are also versions of it for GameCube, and by that logic, the Wii, there's Wii U ports, there's Switch ports. Oh my goodness, the fast slash. There are a lot of ways to officially play Zelda 1 and 2 on hardware. Or well, I guess everything GameCube up is emulation, but it's still, you know, technically official. And emulation is arguably a better way to play it anyway. Oop, pardon me. You've been so busy. Understandable. Really cool, just very marred by questionable design choices. Dark Souls 5, the co-op one? Night Rain, yeah. Dark Souls Night Rain. To be honest, if you want a console to play old Nintendo games, the 3DS is the best choice by far, in my opinion. I would recommend just getting like a 2DS XL or something. Yeah, and there are a lot of really good emulators on phones too, if you have one of those. I think NES controls are fine on touchscreen. I need to go get the mansion key. Yeah. Oh my goodness. The Dark Nuts in Zelda 1 are a little annoying, but I never struggled with them nearly as much as even like the first Zelda 2 boss. Excuse me. I have an OG, like, original 3DS, as well as a 2DS XL. I really, really, really want an orange and white 2DS XL. I love the color combo. I think it looks so good, but they're so expensive compared to the black and blue ones. That's not what I meant to do at all. Muscle memory took over completely. Which is weird, because I don't think I've ever killed Kale, or killed Kale. Probably is the Elden Ring one. A Link Between Worlds is very good. I love A Link Between Worlds. That's one of my favorite 2D Zeldas. It's probably Minish Cap, then Link Between Worlds, then Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. And then, like, probably Zelda 1 from there. Precious Bones for the key. I don't like Link to the Past. I don't think it's bad. It's just all the other 2D games evolve on it in a really interesting way, and Zelda 1 is kind of its own thing. Same with Zelda 2, but again, like I said, I'm not good at Zelda 2, so I've really struggled to get into it so far. Yeah, the new 3DS. Ugh. I don't know. I don't think I've beaten Link to the Past. I've gotten pretty close, though. I got to, I know for sure I've beaten the first 3 dungeons, which is like a quarter of the way into the game, I think. And then I got 2 or 3 more dungeons in, or something. Link to the Past, it's good. I think it's very good. I just think it's like Proto Ocarina of Time, and because of how much I have played and love Ocarina of Time, going back to Link to the Past feels very regressive and anachronistic. Not in a bad way, just in a way that I don't prefer. The 4DS, they haven't gotten that technology yet. Oh, from Dama, I had to throw it. Wow, I can understand references now. Thank you for getting me to play those games. Oh boy, time to die to a random skeleton in the basement. This does a lot of damage, actually. Normally this guy takes a couple stamina bars to take out. Link to the Past is hard. Okay, admittedly, it's been several years. And the first time I played it was when I was a very young child. I think like 8. I played it on some random SNES emulator, like, website. Like a HTML or JavaScript encoded emulator. And I played through the first 3 dungeons and then stopped. And I don't remember it being difficult. And then when I played it a little bit more recently, I don't remember it being difficult either, but I also didn't get very far, I guess. Maybe halfway through the game. Force you to restart if you fall down. Oh yeah. Doesn't the first one do that too? Moldorm or whatever? Is it Moldorm? Is that Link to the Past? That might be a different one. Majora's Mask is very good. I think the 3D Zelda games are kind of in a league of their own compared to the 2D Zelda games. Not because they're better, necessarily, but because of just how different they are. Moldorm is the second or third. Yeah, there are some Nintendo games that are like, oh, I want to play that, and then I remember it's Nintendo and it's gonna be way more expensive than it needs to be. Fucking Pokopia or whatever being $70 is absurd. That's like a $40 game at most on a $500 console or whatever. Ugh, actually insane. Charging the same amount of money for Pokopia and, well, I don't know, actually, saying any flagship Zelda, or flagship Nintendo game is like, the quality's not there anyway. It should have been a $40 game as well. Slightly higher budget 3DS games, but they're priced like actual home console games. There's a Link's Awakening remake? Oh wait, no, I'm thinking Link to the Past. I played the Link's Awakening remake. I liked it. But that was also before I was disillusioned with Nintendo, and if I played it again, I would probably hate it. 30 or 40 bucks, yeah, absolutely. I pre-ordered that. Maybe one of the biggest mistakes of my life. But I was very Nintendo pilled at the time. I've seen so much stuff on Tomodachi Life, and it looks so not good. It is just a higher budget 3DS game being marketed like a home console game. I think relative to their older products, they are fairly substandard, to be honest. On average, like Mario Kart World is missing a ton of features that 8 Deluxe had on launch, you know? Or that 8 had on launch. Or even 7 had on launch. Stuff like that. 3DS was fake? I don't know, there's 2 on my desk actively. But yeah, I don't think all of their products are bad. It's just like on average, I think their quality has dipped. From what I have seen. Admittedly, I haven't played that many new Nintendo games, but... yeah, Echoes of Wisdom was extremely disappointing. It could have been so interesting and cool. And then all the puzzles are incredibly boring and easy. Release Wii U games until morale improves. True. The R2s seem mildly useless for how much damage they do. Wasn't there something with them like removing the original off of the Wii U for not that game specifically, but removing a game from the Wii U eShop that was like 10 bucks and then releasing the game on Switch for like 50 or something? Mina the Hollower, God, I started it. I played like an hour. It's fine. I'm sure it gets better, but it did not capture me. Like, it's good. I think it has a lot of really solid concepts, but from what I played, it doesn't do anything super interesting with them. And the dodging mechanics and stuff feel very unintuitive to me. And that is absolutely just because I didn't play it enough, but I don't get the high praise that it gets. It's good, absolutely, but not based on what everyone was saying. I expected it to be better, to be honest. Crosscode is the best Zelda game? I agree. Crosscode is the best 2D Zelda game. Zelda 1 is like almost Metroidvania-esque. I guess Zelda 2 is a little bit. Oh my goodness. Taking a while to load. Yeah. There's a lot of really interesting things that you can do in Echoes of Wisdom. There's no reason to do any of it, and as soon as you do it, like 3 times, it gets boring. It's very similar to Tears of the Kingdom in that way. Like, oh my god, you can build a flying machine, and then you build it, and then you use it 3 times, and then it's incredibly boring to do every other time. But there's no reason to do anything else because that's just objectively the best approach to exploration. In the same way, you can like drown most enemies in Echoes of Wisdom by producing a water block and then grabbing the enemy and dragging them into it. And it's like, oh, haha, that's a funny way to kill enemies. And then you do it 4 more times. It's like, wow, this sucks. This is extremely boring. But then as soon as you try to summon another enemy, it takes 3 times as long to kill anything. It's, ugh. Thank you, Lucky. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom was a good concept. I stuck to it for like 70 hours. I got pretty far into it and did most of the stuff in the game, but Tunic is awesome. Tunic is one of the best games. Full stop. Oh yeah, you haven't even finished it. You haven't even done the cool part. You're scared. It's not as scary as it seems. As soon as you figure out the gimmick, it becomes extremely simple. There are a couple that are like, oh my god, how is anyone supposed to figure this out? But I ended up finding most of those by chance anyway. Great. From what little I've played of Oracle of Seasons, and from beating the Link's Awakening remake, I wouldn't say it's super similar. Ria, what I did was I took a screenshot and drew on that screenshot with an image editing program. I think that's the best way to, oh my god, take notes in that game. I really want to play Oracle of Ages because I've heard that game has really good puzzles. While Oracle of Seasons focuses more on the combat because it's a Game Boy game. It's really hard to, like, get into the combat, you know? But I don't know how true that is, because obviously they both have combat and puzzles, but they focus on them differently or something? I don't know. Forlorn! Oh my goodness. Oh wait, the barrel worked! Oh my god, this is huge. The blue one is the puzzle one. Oracle of Ages. Where are you going? What is she doing? Hello? Excuse me, Miss Forlorn. He was just trying to psych me out, I guess. Okay, I don't want to fall into the holes. I'm gonna be a bit careful about this. I feel like Zelda games, like the hard Zelda games, tend to have the perfect difficulty of puzzles for me. Like, for instance, Twilight Princess is said to have some of the harder puzzles in the 3D Zelda game. And I feel like that's like the perfect level of difficulty for puzzles for me. Well, for the most part. I got stuck in the I got stuck in the Arbiter's Grounds for a while. Forlorn missed me? Yeah, probably. It's been a bit. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. I got stuck in the Arbiter's Grounds for a bit because I didn't realize you had to look up at one point while using your senses, and that really stumped me for a long time. Other than puzzles where you just have to notice something in a room, I think that level of difficulty is like perfect for me. Like Zelda games in general, I think have really solid difficulty. Highly, highly recommend all 3D Zelda games. Wind Waker is probably, I don't know. I'm split between Majora's Mask and Wind Waker being second place. Ocarina of Time, oops, is my favorite only because of nostalgia. But I love Ocarina of Time. And also because the glitches, but I don't know if that's fair to the other games. Okay, need to buy one more of these. Horse, right there. Okay. Which Wind Waker is harder? Yeah. The combat in Wind Waker feels really good, but it's not necessary to use most of it, which makes me sad. When I got to the combat rooms with like 4 Dark Nuts, I was so happy. And then I ended up beating it extremely easily and got sad. I think some of the puzzles can be a little confusing. But yeah, it's definitely not super hard. What's the scaling like that? Or on that, on like that? Wow, that's not great. Where do I get a lightning stone? There's one from the Crystal Lizard in the next area, right? In terms of Zelda puzzles? I've only done the first dungeon and like up to the second dungeon, but so far, I would say it's about on par with the beginning of like Minish Cap, or I don't know, it's actually been a long time since I played Minish Cap. Minish Cap is probably a little bit easier. There are a lot of navigational puzzles in Minish Cap from what I remember, at least early on, which I thought was really interesting. Yeah, the Shaded Woods, the Crystal Lizard in Shaded Woods is the one that I was thinking of. The one next to Man Scorpion Tark. I love Skyward Sword. I also love Fi. I did play... Well, no, I played the original first. I was going to say I played HD, which is probably why I don't hate Fi. But no, I played the original first. And... Oh, I like Fi. Minish Cap is very good. Easily my favorite 2D Zelda game. It's so good. During / after? Majora's Mask is very open-ended, though. Definitely after, though. Wind Waker is... I don't know, not open, but more open than, like, Minish Cap. Or I'd say about as open as Minish Cap. It was really Twilight Princess where they started getting really linear. I think it's because they wanted a strong narrative experience because of the backlash of Wind Waker, you know? Which is what really got it there. And then it was Skyward Sword where it really got pushed into exclusively linear. It lets you know when your batteries are low. True. She's just doing her best. And honestly, not liking her for that is kind of evil. You really dislike Minish Cap? I don't know. I get it. There's a lot of overworld exploration. There's a lot of NPC stuff. There's a lot of... Oops. There's a lot of navigational stuff. And like the kinstones can be confusing, a little overwhelming at first, but I think for the most part, Minish Cap just does most things much better than the other games. I might get a lightning stone here. No, sad. Yeah, that's true. Wind Waker doesn't let you really... I don't know, it's... I get it. And sedatives. I feel like caffeine and sedatives is a bad mix. Back to the dungeons. The dungeons are very good. I think Twilight Princess has some of my favorite Zelda dungeons. Majora's Mask, unfortunately, has some of my least favorite. Not that I dislike them, but I just don't think they're super interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I do like the way that... What is it? The ice place. I forget what it's called. The second dungeon. I like the way that one uses verticality and like uses a lot of navigational puzzles. And especially uses your movement abilities that you have just gotten and maybe haven't gotten the full grasp of yet. Like with how you can Goron roll to different platforms that you wouldn't be able to just drop onto. But I don't know. I think it's very boring outside of that, and it doesn't really use that verticality and navigation to the fullest degree, which makes it a little disappointing and can be a little tedious with climbing back up and everything. I don't think they're bad. Like Great Bay Palace, I think has a lot of really interesting concepts with how you have to use the water and the Zora's Mask to reach certain ledges and stuff. But they just don't hit as good as other similar dungeons in other games. No head. Stone Tower is very good. Stone Tower is easily my favorite dungeon in Majora's Mask, like by far. And is also, I don't know, I'd put it in some of my favorite Zelda dungeons, but compared to a lot of dungeons in Twilight Princess or even Ocarina of Time, you know, which had a lot more focus on the dungeons. I don't love Woodfall. I think Woodfall is what really set the tone for my not loving the dungeons. I think it's cool, but having the time limit I feel like really restricts what they could have done with the dungeons. Not that the time limit's a bad thing, but I feel like the dungeons should have worked around the time limit a little bit better instead of just kind of being restricted by it. That might be what it is. Except Jabu. I like Jabu. Memorizing which hole goes where is annoying, but otherwise I like Jabu quite a bit. I like the boomerang a lot more than the a lot more than the slingshot. I just wish they had done more with it instead of like one switch that opens up the boss door or whatever, and like a couple of combat challenges. I think the Wind Waker boomerang, which ended up being very similar to the Twilight Princess boomerang, was a lot more boring than the Ocarina of Time boomerang, but yeah, that's where I'm at, Lily. Yeah, that's why I like it. The boomerang is really fun to use in Ocarina of Time. It's just not interesting. It's not used in very many interesting puzzles or interesting combat scenarios outside of like, you gotta stun the enemy with it. But this time the Deku Nuts don't work, so gotta use the dungeon item. It's very situational in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, especially Twilight Princess, in my experience. I guess I've never really tried using it in combat, but I've never really felt like I've had a reason to, especially because the sword combat is so fleshed out and like genuinely really fun in Twilight Princess. Same with Wind Waker, I guess. I kind of cite Wind Waker combat as one of the things that made me get into Dark Souls, because the combat in Wind Waker is one of the best Zelda combat experiences. Oh my god, this is the worst Crystal Wizard in the game. Yeah, Deku Nuts are very strong in Ocarina of Time. They can trivialize a lot of enemies. Can I quit out to get it to respawn? I'm not sure if that's how they work in this game. Yeah, I agree, yes. Oh, I don't know if I loaded into the right profile. I don't think I did. Gui. Okay, I did. Ugh. Master Quest felt weird. I didn't love that they reversed or mirrored dungeons. Um, I think I'm pretty sure I beat the game on Master Quest and didn't find it that much harder, honestly. I know what Guis are, yeah. Ugh, just lizards. Oops. Enemy randomizer can spawn our wings? That's awesome. I need to play an enemy randomizer. I don't know, it has been a very long time since I played the Master Quest, and I did play Master Quest on 3D, so I don't know if it's that much different. Here we go, Bullstone. I don't think I ever... I played Ocarina of Time on GameCube with the Anniversary Collection. No, not the Anniversary Collection. The one with the... Is it the Anniversary Collection? The one with the Wind Waker demo? There is, like... There is the Master Quest Ocarina of Time one. But... I don't know if the GameCube Master Quest is different from the 3D Master Quest. Only ever played 3D. The one thing that I do remember being significantly harder about Master Quest is where this gold skulls were. That messed me up. That's why I think I got stuck on one of them in Dodonko's Cavern for a lot longer than I should have. You know what comes after lunch? Is it strawberries? I'm not even like good at puzzle games though. Well, I guess that's not fair. I'm not... I feel bad at puzzle games because I always want to play really hard puzzle games because I think the concepts are really interesting. And then I can't do them well. Then I feel like I'm bad at them. Like, I got stuck very early on in Baba Is You, for instance. Same with... I got like halfway through, I think, a Monsters Expedition or whatever. Later parts of Ocarina of Time are decently challenging. I think some of the bosses are pretty rough. I think some puzzles in the Shadow Temple are also very difficult. Spirit Temple feels long, but not difficult to me. Not that it's easy, but like, I don't know what, never mind. I love Baba Is You. It's such a good puzzle game. I don't want to cut that off, actually. I'm bad at it, but I love it. Where are you going? What is with the AI today? Oof. I need to heal. I don't know. There are also some puzzles that I'm fairly proficient at. Like, I like to think that I'm good at Sudoku. Go fight Stalfos forever. Yeah. the time Stalfos fights in the Forest Temple would have really gotten me. If I didn't know that you could stun them. The same with the ones on the boat in the Shadow Temple, but I'm pretty sure there were timed ones in the Forest Temple. I had to use a guide to get through the Lost Woods, admittedly, but I also did that when I was like 8. And by that time I got to later parts of the game, I was like 12 or 13 and was able to get through most of it without a guide. Basalt Land of Doom. True. Hey, Ocarina of Time Stalfos, I do not blame you. Is Alabaster Dawn from the Crosscode people? I wish I wish Zelda games were better. Wasn't there an Ocarina of Time ROM hack, like Dawn and Dusk or something? I remember I played the demo of that and liked it a lot. I wish there were more fan-made Zelda-esque games that focused more on puzzles. I feel like a game gets really good when they can balance the time you spend on puzzles and the time you spend on combat. Because if you spend too long on one before going to the other, it gets to feeling tedious and poorly paced. But if you find a game that paces them well, it's such a good experience. I think God of War 1 is a great example of that. I think Ocarina of Time is also like that. In the way you like poison swamps in games. Understandable. Yeah, I agree. That's Greek block puzzles, exactly. The Tetris puzzle at the end of the game, genuinely really love that one. That one was really fun. I've wanted to make a Zelda-like for so long. Or a dungeon. Oh, Link's Awakening. That's the one that you have to like break down, right? You have to use the heavy metal ball to break the dungeon and like collapse the floors on each other. I think that was the hardest dungeon in the game for me, but I don't remember. That one was very confusing. I got through it. God, I would make so many video games if I was competent at level design. You have no idea. I suck at level design, but if I was good, you would see so many Solar Pellets Inc. games on Steam. I'm not sure. It kind of depends on when my roommate gets home from work. I try to level design for you. I would be appreciative. The thing is, if I have a base too, I can like improve on it. It's just I struggle to come up with combinations of obstacles and stuff that is interesting to me, but I don't know how to start. Dark Souls 2 level design is perfect. True. That's a great point. Yeah, I'm exactly the opposite, Eth. I can 3D model perfectly fine, especially environments. I'm a lot better at 3D modeling environments than, or not environments, but like environmental objects than pretty much anything else. And the environmental objects, in my opinion, are what really make environments look good or bad. And I can program fine. I'm bad at animating, but animations don't need to look good as long as you use them correctly. But it's when I have to come up with ideas for levels that makes my brain fail to function. Hated this area. The peasants are a little bit tanky, admittedly, but otherwise I think Brightstone Cove is a good area. I'm not sure. I was looking through videos like runs I have recorded. And I want to redo Dark Souls 2 Blacksmith Hammers. But I have Dark Souls 3 Blacksmith Hammers recorded, and like all I need to do is write a script for that. I also have Dark Souls 2 Bow Only recorded. And I'm not sure which of those I want to do. I also have like a Dark Souls 2 run with a rapier that's like halfway done. What? Is it a poison swamp? No, no it is. True. That's how you make good level design. Fox, poison swamp. You're a genius. The goal of the level will be to unpoison the swamp. I make so many songs that would be so good in a video game. That's honestly, if I'm being completely real, the biggest reason I want to do game dev is because I want to be able to use my music. Let the fox to purify the swamp. Goodbye, Coley. Hope you enjoy your lunch. I don't think a raw rapier is necessarily a bad choice, especially if you're early in the game. Would need cryptic hints, yeah. Oh, I'm out of stamina. I forgot I need to actually do stamina management. Oops. Ooh. I need to pay attention. You didn't even eat a Chingus Bingus. I don't have. Wait, did I not rest? Am I silly? Don't answer that. Okay, you. Why is my sword gone? I think these guys are resistant to lightning. Ah, damn it. I wonder why they're resistant to lightning. That doesn't make sense. Lord, if I died a Magus in Congregation... Clearly not. I do have like 4 Titanite shards, I think. No, stop healing! Pardon me. There we go. Why is this one taking more damage? Like, way more damage. Huh. They have a spell that makes them resist. Die to them 5 times in your first playthrough. Okay, maybe you didn't have a great weapon. Yeah, I'm very bad at remembering to talk to NPCs in video games. Your Baba is ready. I hope your Baba is an enjoyable experience. Quintessential action adventure. Yeah, true. I feel like the 2 genres of action adventure RPGs are like Zelda and like hack and slash, which is a very broad category in terms of which game represents it best. Don't do that. I don't have the cat ring. That would have been a bad idea. Okay. I just need to get the chunks and get out of here. Oh, I should have grabbed the one from... I should have enough. Either way, actually. That's fine. I do see the party emojis. Thank you. My Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is not a Zelda game that I would recommend to anyone in terms of Zelda games. You do? That's awful. So if you download a game, if you're not online, you can't play it? Or like, I assume there's like a checking period like there was with NES Online. Back when I actually used to pay for Nintendo Online. Yeah, I have ADHD. My brain doesn't like it when I talk to NPCs. Where to find Ruby music? In my channel, in the About section, there is a link to my second channel and my music channel, as well as the Discord server, which is in the description. There's also a link on the Discord if you're in there. Okay, I'm gonna upgrade my flask.
To see, however.
Oh yeah, if you're enjoying the stream, I would really appreciate a like. It does a lot for the algorithm, support me so I can do this more. And do it better. Lets me know that I'm doing the right thing. And all that. Okay, I'm gonna... I'm gonna not level up yet. I'm gonna infuse my sword with lightning and see how good the scaling is from there. Okay. Feels wrong to not exhaust all dialogue. Yeah. I think for me, just because I've played these games so much and I've gotten to the point where I run past almost every NPC in every Souls game just because of how much I played them, and I know that I don't need to talk to those NPCs. Remembering to talk to NPCs in games that I haven't played yet is not something that I'm good at. Use with lightning. Okay. That's a pretty big AR boost, actually. Okay, and then here. What was that weapon? Was that like the shuttle or something? I wasn't paying that much attention, but it looked weird. Okay, let's see. That's better. Okay, I'm gonna get faith to 20, maybe 25, and go from there. Okay, Lost Center. This one. Or, well, I guess not Lost Center first, but... NPCs do talk slow. This is true. Most people in general talk slow, though, admittedly. I've ended up slowing my speech significantly just over time while making videos because I've had so many people say that I talk too quickly. Less so when I'm streaming. I think I still talk fairly quickly while I'm streaming. But while I'm recording scripts, I have slowed down my speech quite a bit from what I used to. At least I assume I do because I don't get those comments anymore. I'm like trying to read chat and play the video game at the same time, and famously that goes amazingly. Yeah. Yes. I don't have a... Where do I find a branch? Where's an easy branch to get? I guess I can... I'm struggling to remember where branches are. Is there one that I skipped? I know there's one in... in... Oh my god. In No Man's Wharf. That was the same NPC. I should have actually looked at their weapon this time. NPC. That was the same other PC. Do the forest jump? I don't want to do the forest jump. I'm bad at the forest jump. We've discussed this. Oh, I didn't get the... Okay. I have ADHD. I need to remember how to play the video game. I forgot to get the serpent ring from Malentia, which I'm going to do now before I forget, because that's important and I want to have it on for most of the run. I think I bought the branch from Malentia. Actually, I don't think I did. Now that I think that's the one. I would go to the gutter, but I don't have the souls to buy the ring. I guess I do, actually. Yeah, I probably do. Yeah, I definitely do. But there's a branch right here. No, I did buy that one. Did I not get the chest next to the pursuer? It must have been that one. I may be silly. But that's okay. I feel like, yeah, the genre of game really influences whether or not I will end up, like, talking to NPCs. Because when I'm playing a heavily story-driven RPG, I'm a lot more likely to. Like, oh my god, Deltarune tomorrow! Sorry. Autism moment. I just played through the first 4 chapters of Deltarune again, and, I talked to nearly every NPC, despite it being my 4th or 5th time playing through the game. Deltarune tomorrow. I'm so excited. But when it's like a Souls game, like I said, I have a hard time talking to every NPC just because I don't do that in most of the games that I play anymore. Because I've played through them so many times. Okay. Now with that, I can actually go fight. I'm gonna buy the ring. I'm gonna use my souls. I don't think it'll matter, but I'm going to. I don't need to worry about I'm all in this run, so that's cool. The one benefit to doing a cosplay run that isn't like a boss. Why am I fat rolling? Oh, the rings. Right. Really? I guess I can just level vitality a little bit. Really? I'm like right at the edge, huh? Fun fact, with Shalquar in this position, you can actually talk to her through the wall, which I did on accident in my very first playthrough and thought I was talking to this corpse balled up on the ground. Deltarune, in just a day. Deltarune, just a day away. It got here so fast. Okay. Vitality. A couple levels should be enough. Deltarune, true. I think chapter 2 is my favorite. I don't know how true that is. I think chapter 2 is my favorite. Really? Ugh, I'm just gonna take the helmet off for now. But chapter 3 and 4 are also very, very good. Chapter 1 is also insanely good, though. I love Deltarune. Deltarune is very, very good. I'm very, very excited for tomorrow. Benson Boone. Benson Boone is a singer, I believe, who is known for being quote-unquote cringe because he does backflips because he thinks they're cool or something. I don't know. I don't pay attention to internet drama. People make fun of millennials, probably, if I had to guess. I know people think his music is pretty boring. But I am not one to judge other people's opinion on art, because art enjoyment is incredibly subjective. I have a couple Owl City songs in my playlist. As much as I hate that, as much as that makes me very sad because he is a Christian, they are in there. I also still listen to like Cave Town on occasion. Hey, Owl City's music. There's something about it. There's a couple of his songs that are just very brain scratchy, and I hate it. I hate it a lot. Vanilla Twilight and Silhouette, I think, are the ones that I have in there. I haven't listened to them in a long time, but I've had them in my playlist for a while. I also have, I haven't listened to this playlist in a while either. In fact, I think it's the same playlist. But have Join Us for a Bite on a playlist. Isn't it 10 million fireflies? I don't blame you for not knowing. It's too many. I really want to see fireflies in person. I've never lived anywhere or been anywhere with fireflies. But I think that would be very cool. A very cool experience. Really? A stagger? Okay, well. A plus 10 is barely good enough to easily beat them on the platform. I don't want to wait for it to come back up. Autistic for a system of a non. I was that way with Ween for a bit. I also got that way with the Family Crest. As soon as I heard one of their songs, they were all I listened to for like months. Family Crest is a very, very good band. The Headwinds, all 4 of their albums are just insane. The War Act 2, the War Act 1 is probably my favorite. There's some incredible songs from Beneath the Brine. All of their singles are good. Aren't nearly as many. I dislike people if they are Christian. Only because, well, no, I don't think that's fair to say. I don't dislike people because they are Christian. I hate Christianity, and the moment somebody tells me they are Christian, for any reason, it's very hard to believe that they are not either disgustingly ignorant or complicit in extremely negative things, right? Like, if you are Christian, you support Christianity in at least some aspect. And any support of Christianity supports the whole of Christianity. Yeah, Oh Hellos is another... I think Oh Hellos is probably my biggest guilty pleasure, because they are Christian. Oh god. They have some good songs. Constellations is probably my favorite. Ugh. New River is also very good. I'm gonna go... I don't know, I'm gonna go 20. And level up my Vigor and Endurance to 20. And go from there. I think the positives can come without being Christian, so being Christian is exclusively negative. The only positive that I can see coming from Christianity, or any religion for that matter, is the ability to cope. And when you're relying on something that is fundamentally untrue to cope with being alive, then as soon as that illusion is shattered, you're gonna have a hard time with life from experience. I was Christian for the first 18, almost 19 years of my life. After a couple months of moving out of my parents, I ended up starting to deconvert, and then within like 2 weeks of starting to deconvert, I was fully deconverted, which was a crazy, like, dramatic shift in my brain. Going from devout Christian to being extremely anti-religious as a whole. In 2 weeks, just like really fucked me up for a while. There are a lot of Christians who, like, one of the things that I hate most about Christianity is Christians who say they support things like homosexuality, or, you know, support the LGBT or whatever, however you want to phrase it. Because objectively, the Bible is against homosexuality. There are a lot of ways you can twist it and interpret it in different ways, but the text says that being gay is bad. So if you are supporting Christianity in any aspect, even if you believe that being gay is okay, you're still going to be supporting Christianity as a whole, which means you're going to be supporting, like, homophobia at its face, right? Especially if somebody, you know, becomes Christian because of you, because they're like, oh, this is an accepting religion. And then they actually, and then start believing and, you know, having those strong emotional experiences because of the extremely manipulative shit that churches do. Like the music and everything. Which then leads into them having a strong emotional attachment to the religion and then actually getting into it and realizing that it is necessarily homophobic and extremely bigoted in a lot of different ways. My grandma believes in God and prays and doesn't go to church, or she says she reads the Bible to be a good Christian, but not really. Not like, I don't know, like my dad used to, right? And that is the only negative thing she does. Yeah. You can justify a lot of shit with religion, and only religion. You cannot justify but all the positives that are justified by religion are also justified by oh my goodness, what's the word? Not religious? What's the word for that? Have I played Blasphemous? Not yet, but it is on the list that I will get to eventually. Eventually, TM. No, not agnostic. It's there's a secular by secular things. Yeah, I have oh my goodness, I've wanted to play Blasphemous for a long time, but I've never gotten around to it. There's a lot of games like that, actually. I've been working through them now. I've gotten through the DMC games and have started working through the God of War games. Or well, I've gotten through most of the God of War games, actually. And those are both series that I've always wanted to get into, so I started doing that, but... What's your thumbs? That does not bode well for me and my RSI. On both hands. I love having degenerative diseases at a young age, and also chronic pain. It's so awesome. I'm kidding. Yeah, exactly, Naru. That's the point I was trying to say, and you put it succinctly. Me too, Riam. There you go, Naru. Should I use boss souls? Eventually. I'm gonna do all of them at once later, because I like doing that. and I haven't done that in a long time. I want a little bit more vitality. I don't need 14, do I? Surely not. 20. Like, I don't know. The most succinct way I can put it is I don't think being religious makes you a bad person. I do think being religious is a symptom of being a bad person, right? And if not, it is a symptom of things like ignorance that can easily lead to being a bad person, or hurting others unintentionally, which arguably makes you a bad person. You know? I think switching off of Christianity, like deconverting, is funny, because I went from hating all but one religion, all but one sect of one religion, to hating all religion, and it really wasn't that big of a difference. But like the mindset shift was crazy, especially over a 2-week period. I have a whole the series is called My Experience with Christianity. I think it's a good series, but the quality is really bad, and I don't think it's very succinct. And I talk about a lot of points over and over again because it's, you know, split across a ton of different videos. And I've been wanting to redo that series in one long video on my second channel, and I started working on it. I got fairly far in, or well, I have like an hour or so of footage, for like maybe a quarter of the topics that I wanted to get through. And I was really enjoying recording that, but getting time to record that is rough, because I want to record it in as few sessions as possible. And we'll see if / when I end up finishing that, but I think that will be a really good succinct way to wrap up my religious journey and then stop thinking about it for a while. I need to do a lot more than edit. There's a message that I want to read that I can't because people talked too much before I got to read it, because I'm in the middle of a boss fight. Oh my goodness, I dodged it. I think it's the first time I've dodged that attack in a long time, aside of just getting away from it. First time I've rolled through that attack in a long time. Oh. Okay. Here we go. And actually, I need to actually remember to pick up the Great Soul this time. Immune to all mundane poisons. That's awesome. I wish I was. No, please continue to chat. I'm just slow at reading. Because I haven't done this in a while. That's what I'm blaming that on. It's not a skill issue on my part, it's a consistency issue. Okay. Let me scroll up. I don't like spirituality, but I can see why, and I'm also fairly neutral on it. I think it is a lot less bad than religion, I think, but it can also very easily lead to a lot of negative things, like relying on the spirituality to cope in unhealthy ways, you know, if that makes sense. So as a rule, I do kind of discourage spirituality, but I don't like have the same views on it as I do religion, obviously. Where to now? Okay, so I've done this. Well, the well. I need to go down the well. Yeah. Yeah, me too. I can't give up caffeine because then I wouldn't be able to do this, and that would make me sad. Fuck. Oh, everything's fine. I have not died yet. And I would have been very sad if that was the first death. Yeah, I agree. Most of it almost definitely is. If not, full stop all of it. Either explanations for patterns, or like a coping mechanism, like I said. And it's much healthier, and also, I think, much more... What? I'm trying to think of what words to use. Much more conducive to healthy thoughts, I think is a good way to put it. To, like, try to understand things rather than asserting spiritual explanations to them. I think ritual and, like, gods can be interesting and fun, but beyond that, you know. Ritual can be useful, but requiring a god to, or any spirituality to, like, keep you invested in rituals is also... Oof. Hello, Cinder. Welcome. Yeah. That's a big part of it. Here I go, for sure. You know, there have been a lot of quotes that I've come up with over the years, just like randomly thinking, which is crazy. I know, Ruby thinking, huh? But I'll like not remember them, so I'll never know if they were actually good quotes or if I was just delusional because it was 3 a.m. and I was cleaning a casino bathroom for the 4th time that night. You know. On Satanism, theistic and non-theistic. I think non-theistic Satanism, in my experience, oops, I punched my desk. Not my experience, but to my understanding, is primarily a counter-cultural movement. So it's hard to like say I have a stance on it when it's just like people disliking Christianity. Just like, yeah, me too. But I don't want to rely on Christian imagery to like stick it to them or whatever. But like if you want to, whatever, that's awesome. When it comes to theistic Satanism, I feel like that's similar to Gnosticism in the fact, or in the way that it is a way of... This guy drops the mask, right? What does the mask look like? not my vibe. In a way that they're trying to apply their cultural position and understanding and knowledge in a way that does not feel, what's the word, like that doesn't feel opposed to how they see the world and their, I guess, internal moral values, because obviously, you know, Christianity, the Christian God, is evil in a lot of ways to a lot of people, right? So coming to terms with that and trying to find a way to still have the cultural touchstones. Is this where I want to go? I think I went the wrong way. I don't think I should have dropped down. I think it's another way of coping, is what I'm getting at. Theistic Satanism is another way of coping with the whole universe thing. And I think it's largely a negative. Is that where I think it is? Ouch. I think I want to go down there. I think? Oof. Wait, no. Ah! Fuck. I'm not sure where I'm at, to be completely honest. I may be silly. I have bones. I'm just gonna use a bone. Okay. Isn't that just the plot of Paradise Lost? Okay. Mostly processing religious trauma. Yeah, absolutely. If you're using it to process trauma and like you're using being countercultural in that way, I think that's awesome. That's what I did. Being anti-theistic was my way of coping with religious trauma for a long time, and still is. You know, I'm very against religion as a whole because I want to help people get out of religion because of how harmful it is, and you know, the vast majority of the time. Hi, Krista. Welcome. But yeah, if theistic Luciferianism, I feel like is literally just Gnosticism under a different name, except you don't worship the New Testament God. Very on-topic typo. F. We so, I was playing Night Rain with someone, and we were fighting Noster, and we both liked Spyro, or the Dragon, the first game as a kid. So we ended up calling her Ganasty Gnoster because of the main villain of that game being Ganasty Gnorc. And talking about Gnosticism just makes me want to call it Ganasty Gnosticism. That's so dumb. I don't like the things my brain comes up with sometimes. I like Night Rain more than Batman movies. Actually, I haven't watched the Dark Knight trilogy, and I've heard that that's a good series, but as of now, where I haven't watched it, I like Night Rain more. Y'all the boss. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. Ugh, I need to level my damage stats. I need to get Lens Ring. That's what I need to do. Ugh. Oh, wait, I did it. I'm so good at this game. I feel like this weapon is not going to be good in the Iron Keep. So I'm a little bit scared of that, but otherwise I think most of the base game should go fairly smoothly. Really thematically unpleasant. In like a intentional storytelling way though, right? Like that's the point? Or is it like a, oh, they didn't need to do that kind of unpleasant? That is such a low damage. Ugh. Dark Knight is the only good one in the trilogy. Third one is overhated. I forced Rhea to watch the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie recently. I'm excited to watch the second one with her because I haven't seen any of the movies in a very long time. I'm also excited to do 3, but it was a movie of all time. That's true, it is a movie of all time. One of the movies of all time, actually. The Batman 2022. I don't know. Personally, I'm not huge on superhero movies in general. I got really into the MCU for Iron Man to Endgame, and then I never watched another one. I need to kill the giants. I think I like it when superheroes are used to explore difficult concepts. Like Invincible, I guess. I guess with Invincible specifically, I don't think it's that intense of a concept. But you know, that kind of vibe. Spirit Stallion of the huh? Okay, we get endurance, I guess. And okay, what's the scaling like on this? Like, not good. Okay, even worse. Okay, so I guess I should basically just level faith from now. Get some actual damage. Yeah, I know that, Krista. Watchmen and The Boys are two that I've heard do things like that, but I have not watched either. Okay, go back here. Rarely touch on age, yeah. I feel like the reason is just because superheroes kind of started as a timeless thing, you know, where they would be themselves in different ages and like restart whenever things got to feeling old. Like Golden Age era superheroes kind of did that a lot. Where, you know, they'll have new comic runs over and over instead of actually aging them. And just because of that, that's just a concept that is kind of foreign to superheroes in general. And a lot of superheroes are also immortal because, you know, that's a fantasy that a lot of people have. Or if not immortal, you know, insanely long-lived. I think the way they play with time in Invincible, like with Nolan aging rapidly around like the black hole, or in the other dimension with the guys that attacked Earth early on. I think they could have done a lot with that. That was really interesting, and then they just didn't because Viltrumites live for thousands of years. But I think that's like a really scary concept, just losing years of your life because of where you happen to be. Years of your life relative to, you know, where you're used to being. I guess, like, what's the movie? Interstellar, I think, does that, but I'm not into sci-fi. I say that as I'm talking about Invincible, but never watched Logan. I've heard good things about that one, but also wasn't one I was ever personally super interested in. Oof. Heal. I may be bad at the video game. Oof. I may be bad at the video game. There we go. Yeah, I know, Ria. We'll get to it, I promise. To be fair, though, Batman doesn't have godlike powers, right? And that's kind of his thing. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4 is very interesting with the way it tackles Snake being old. Ria show is The Expanse. The last Ria show that I watched was Shadow and Bone, and I read the books first. And it's one of those things where I don't think the books are better necessarily, but they're such crazy different stories, and the way they characterize a lot of characters is insanely different between the two, to the point where they just become different stories entirely. I really liked the Shadow and Bone books, but I also really liked the Netflix series. And I'm really sad that Six of Crows got canceled, because I feel like that would have been really interesting. I got into a lot of like Lee Bardugo, like Grishaverse side stories too. Oh, I didn't grab the key. Oops. And most of them are pretty good. I liked a lot of them. If you like, I don't know, dark fantasy might be an overstatement, but if you like fantasy in general, I highly recommend the Grishaverse books and the series, the Netflix series as well. That said, the Darkling is not the bad guy in the Netflix series, despite being treated like the bad guy, and I think that's really funny. He's I think they tried to portray him as like as a misled villain. But he's very clearly like misunderstood in the Netflix series. But in oh my goodness. Oh well, there's the first death. But in the books, he's like actually a villain. And he's very creepy in the books too. I think it's done really well. Six of Crows is really good. And I will never not see Kaz as Zach Varmatek from the Wildcrats. I liked Crooked Kingdom a lot less than Six of Crows. I'm not sure I ever even finished Crooked Kingdom, to be honest. But I loved Six of Crows. Holy mental flashbang. Yes, I believe you have piqued Ria's interest. Oh, I can put the helmet back on, huh? I forgot about that. The design of Zach Varmatek has never left my mind. I don't know what it is, but he's like such an iconic villain. Okay, now we can actually go into the DLC. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Did they do... I know they did Zabumafu and Wildcrats. Like the animated Wildcrats show. Did they do anything else? That is a great idea. You should absolutely do that. Anyway, if you're wondering who I'm talking about from Shadow and Bone, look up Kaz Brekker. K-A-Z-B-R-E-K-K-E-R. An enemy-shaped dork, yeah. Very pale and gray. Black hair with a goatee. Such a good character design. Was her name Anita? The girl who did all the tech stuff? Yeah, I was about to say I had a crush on her as a kid, and I'm sure almost everyone else did as well. I know there were other characters, but I don't remember any of them. Aviva? I don't remember Koki at all. The names remind me of Boba and Kiki or whatever. that bakery. But they did. And they knew what they were doing, I'm sure. That did. Never mind. They had to get the parents interested somehow. Ugh, the bug sounds always freak me out in here. Tomorrow is the Dragon Slayer's Crescent X, I believe. The one that you find in the Shaded Woods. Oh, excuse me. Yes, you sure deaf. I'm a big fan of Greek yogurt. I love getting plain Greek yogurt and just throwing a bunch of shit in there. Honey and granola is my favorite combo. Last time I got yogurt, it was like... I don't remember where exactly. I think it was East Asian somewhere. Like traditional yogurt. And it was very sour, and I was not ready for that. But I also had like stale granola with it, because I didn't know the granola was stale when I put it in the yogurt, and I didn't want to waste it, and it was... ugh, not great. No, it was we went to a new store, and it was the cheapest yogurt by far. Like the tub of Greek yogurt for a small tub was like $5, and it was $3 for a bigger tub of the other kind of yogurt. So I got that. The yogurt specifically was more expensive at that store, which was really sad because I like yogurt a lot. Pardon me. Krista, I feel like if somebody mentioning a bad food combination can ruin that food for you, you have things to look into. Here is the yogurt that you like, Ria? That is not very sour compared to what I had anyway. I'm gonna attempt to grab the dragon stone. Oh my god. I'm playing with a PS5 controller right now, which I'm not used to doing. Which makes it very difficult to use the D-pad well. Okay. If I can't do this without getting mullered. Are you gonna attack me here? Okay, well, I managed to survive, which is better than I was expecting. Of the PS5 controller? I don't. It was comfortable the first time I used it. And then I ended up hating the stick position because it's really far away from where my thumb naturally rests. And the D-pad is also in a really bad position. It's huge, so pressing any D-pad buttons with my thumb still on the joystick is functionally impossible compared to the And I can't use my other hand either for the D-pad compared to like the Xbox controller where that's extremely easy. Or even like the Switch Pro controller. I guess Xbox and Switch have the same controller layout. Oh my god. I got jump scared. I don't like the PS5 controller. I think it's horrifically unergonomic. I think I want to get this bonfire. Hi guys. Give me 1 second, please. Thank you. Okay, now we have the Iron Keep. I really like knockoff Xbox controllers. Xbox layout controllers, because official ones are way too big and like really uncomfortable to use. And the knockoff ones always happen to be like the perfect size and also way cheaper and functionally better. My RSI disagrees with me at claw gripping the joystick. 8-Bit Dough is like a premium knockoff brand though. They're fairly cheap, but compared to like, I don't know, GameSir or I don't remember the other brand that I really like, but other brands, I think 8-Bit Dough is overrated. Ugh, we don't talk about the Duke. The Duke is not what I'm referring to. Raspberries, strawberries, and blueberries. I don't like fruit and yogurt because my autism hates the texture. I mean in terms of like functionality compared to price with between 8-Bit Dough and GameSir. I admittedly I haven't looked at 8-Bit Dough controllers in a while. But the last ones that I saw had less functionality for the same price. Bananas are the best berry, this is true. Oh, I really want a peach cobbler now. Or an apple cobbler. I just want a cobbler. Cobbler is so good. I need to force my partner to make a cobbler with me. The PS5 buttons, I just noticed this actually. They're a little bit stiffer than the Xbox buttons, so claw gripping with the and pressing the button with the side of my finger is definitely more painful. Raspberries aren't berries? Actually, I didn't know that. That's fucked up. I could go for either Naru. Crumble is also good, but I'm really in the mood for a cobbler. Ugh. I would kill for a peach cobbler right now. I assume apples are cheaper. I've never bought peaches. But I assume apples are cheaper. Strawberries are aggregate fruits. I can talk, I swear. Pardon me. I don't have like small hands, but my hands are smaller than average. On top of an RSI from using controllers that were too big without a brace for too long, and very bad combo. Okay. Skeleton Lord shouldn't be too bad. Agate fruit. What's the thing on the end of your shoelace is called? Aglet, that's what it is. I know it's similar to agate, but my brain was not making the connection. God, speaking of vegetables not being a botanical category, I say culinary because I heard that once, and I really like that pronunciation compared to culinary, even though more people use culinary. And I am very much a hypocrite in that way because words are pronounced how people pronounce them, you know? But I really like culinary. I have degenerative conditions, Krista. Oh, that's probably part of it. My genetics are not good. Among other things. Okay. Getting rid of the bone wheels first isn't super necessary, but it gives me peace of mind. Ugh, the shields. I need to like force myself to not play any video games for like 2 months for my hands to heal, but I can't do that. My brain will not let me do that. And I don't know what to do about it. Where? Why am I getting complimented out of nowhere? Ah. Balls are slowly disintegrating. Me too. Wow. It's like seasoned cardboard. They do, in fact, taste like seasoned cardboard with way too much cinnamon. I think it's more of a tendon hurty disease for me than a bone hurty disease, which is arguably worse. I don't know. I need to do more exercises and stuff so I don't get osteoporosis. I need to keep going on daily walks. I've been struggling recently because it's been getting hotter, and I've been limited on time with everything that I want to do recently. But I need to start going on daily walks again. That would be really good for me. My legs have been hurting because my chair sucks. In theory, I should be getting a new chair soon, but my chair hurts the back of my legs when I eat or when I sit too much. So going on walks would definitely really help with that. Time is your greatest fear. Yeah. Understandable. I've kind of come to terms with it at this point. There are still moments where I'm like bummed out about it, but I am actually sitting on a stuffed animal right now. It's for those of you who have seen it, it's a seal plush that Rhea bought me because it's like the perfect size to fit in my chair. It's not a great cushion, but it's better than what's on my seat already. Unfortunately, Krista is too big. For context, Krista bought me a very long cat plush that is almost exactly the same height as her, and I think that's really funny. And we call it Tall Krista, because Krista is very short. The creature. The creature indeed. I was gonna use a pillow, but the only pillows I have are ones that I sleep on, and I don't want to sit on a pillow that I sleep on. That feels wrong. I should get a dedicated seat cushion, but I just like don't have expendable income for stuff like that right now, which is really not good for my long-term health. You know, capitalism. Oatmeal with chicken stock instead of water. I assume you don't put milk in it afterward. I've never been big on like savory breakfast foods. I've always preferred the sweet versions. Like savory crepes have just never sounded appealing to me. Oh wait, I also need to use an effigy actually. I have a very strong sweet tooth personally. Come on. Yeah, if you give me money, I can make better content probably. I like sweet crepes. I'm a big fan of sweet crepes. Admittedly, I've tried one savory crepe. It was fine, but I definitely prefer sweet. From what I understand, ADHD and autism can both lead to enjoying sweet foods more. So, having both, probably. I also like food in general, but I'm a big fan of sweets in general as well. Especially pastries. I love pastries. It's doom deary. It's doomed because our love hurts me. That's why I lose health, because it's doom deary. I think kind of a different topic, but with oh my goodness. With the topic of autism and ADHD making you like sweet food more. I think unmasking and like realizing I was autistic and I had ADHD did a lot of really, really good things for my mental health. Because for the longest time, I felt, I don't know, childish, right? For a lot of symptoms of those. And liking sweet things was definitely a big part of that, right? It felt childish to like sweet foods. But, like, realizing that first of all, that it's fine to like whatever you like, right? And liking quote-unquote childish things is not bad. But also, like, realizing it was because of autism, like unmasking and everything, it really helped me feel a lot better about a lot of things in my life. Yeah, I have not at all, Eth. There are things that I find too sweet now. But outside of that, like, I don't know. Like, I can only have a slice of cheesecake before I'm down and out, you know, but I could eat more cookies than my body could hold at any given time. You know? Yeah, I don't know if it's like a Western thing specifically, but Um, liking sweet foods is generally considered more on the childish side, for sure. But that applies to a lot of things too. Um, I don't know, a lot of games I like. I don't know, it's hard to give specific examples because a lot of things are a lot more all ages focused, or something like, I don't know, Undertale, which at the time it came out, I was a middle schooler, and everyone I knew who liked it was a middle schooler outside of, like, you know, the YouTubers who played it. But that's definitely something that is enjoyed by people of all ages, especially queer and neurotypical people, because of its themes and everything, right? But things like that, you know, where it felt childish to still enjoy things like that. But over time, I've realized that it's totally fine to just like what you like. Children are more drawn to sweet things because it's a lot of energy, and obviously kids need a lot of energy because they're growing and everything. So on average, adults like sweet things less than children, which I assume is where that stigma comes from. But again, also people with ADHD and autism can be more drawn to sweet things because of something with how neural pathways are formed and connected and everything, and it taking more energy to have an neurotypical game. Did I say game? I'm at brain if I did. I need to heal. The ape brain craves sugar, indeed. I think another big part of it is, like, it's easy to like sweet things, right? So I'm sure a lot of people consider it undisciplined to indulge in sweet foods frequently, which admittedly, like, there is a degree to which it does become unhealthy, but I have considered that. Lucky. Absolutely, I have considered that. Good luck, Ria. Thank you for being here while you could. Love you too. And it's not like I don't like, you know, quote unquote, more complex flavors. I'm a huge fan of, like, a lot of greens, and I'm Jesus Christ, I am a fan of a lot of bitter foods. That did a lot more damage than I was expecting it to, based on the Reddit post that I saw. I like a lot of bitter foods, which are considered, you know, more difficult to enjoy or whatever. But I also just really like sweet food. I'm a huge fan of coffee, and I'm a huge fan of milkshakes. Coffee is peak, I agree. Oh my goodness. I'm fine. Everything is fine. Literally nothing to worry about at all. Currently a cat on your desk? Wow. The cat that lives in my apartment does not like me very much. That coffee, just not black coffee? I like black coffee, is the thing. I don't know, the cat doesn't dislike me. She just likes other people more, for whatever reason. Like, she'll climb on other people's desks, but never mind. She'll try to get me to play with her a lot or whatever, but she never goes out of her way to be with me, as opposed to anyone else. Which is weird, because in my experience, most cats have liked me a lot. But, I don't know. Something about that cat specifically. Good coffee has flavor. Good black coffee has a lot of flavor. Like bad black coffee is awful, absolutely, but I think there's a lot of coffees that are really good in black. Some are better black in my opinion. Not many, but some. I am surprised that didn't knock me out of the heel. Very good. The milk and sugar are a must. I mean, I like energy drinks a lot, but I think for me, when I drink coffee, it's more about the flavor than the caffeine. A lot of the time it is also about the caffeine, but I just like the coffee flavor itself. I'll get diner coffee because I'll be craving coffee and it's the worst thing I've ever tasted in my life. Yeah, dark roasts are not great, black. For sure. Lighter roasts are certainly more pleasant. There's some dark roasts that I like. I couldn't name any off the top of my head, but I've had dark roasts that I've liked black, but not very many. You can stun Smelter out of a buff? I didn't know that, actually. I've done phase skips with Smelter, but I've never knocked him out of buffing. I didn't put on Flynn's ring. Wait, okay, so before I do these streams, I always Google, or I don't know, more recently, it's mostly been like DuckDuckGo or whatever. I will search up a weapon, the weapon that I'm going to be using, to like get an overall view of it before I go into it, so I have stuff to talk about and like stuff to put in the thumbnail or whatever. I saw a Reddit post saying that this weapon was doing bad damage in this level. And they were really struggling with this level in particular. And people were saying, oh yeah, the Alon Knights have high slash resistance or whatever. But killing the Alon Knights in 2 hits is not low damage. And I didn't even have I don't even have Flynn's ring equipped right now, so I don't get that. No, it's a normal Titan Knight sword. I need to go level up. Second phases under 50% health are what bother me. Like, a good example of that is like Horalu in Elden Ring. Ugh, it's like a 40% damage threshold or something. 40% health threshold. That is a big boost in damage. Whoa. Okay, yeah. Oh, I can actually replace this one with this one. Will that even get me that much more? Surprisingly, yeah. 11 more AR. Answer. Doesn't she switch a buff health? I don't know, that feels different too, because you can attack her while she's switching phases, like, and do a good amount of damage while she's just pulling her sword out of the ground. No. Okay, careful. Okay. I managed to avoid my second death here. Feels closer to 50 than 40%. I don't know, it's under 50%. And it's a cutscene transition, which makes it feel really bad. I think Elden Ring Gargoyle 2 comes in way too early as well. I usually get Dancer down to like 30%, or 30 to 40% during the phase transition, though, is the thing. because her phase transition is variable, like when she decides to do it, and while she's doing it, you can do a bunch of damage, so it feels different in Horlu. Elden Ring Gargoyle is fucked up, this is true. Turtle soup. Do I have another Estus shard? I do. I should use that. I also always do early dancer. I'll get like a +3 broadsword or whatever. And then go and beat her so I can get a +10 early because it feels good. And I don't like most of the early game Dark Souls 3 bosses. Yeah, Elden Ring is very anime. That's a good way to put it. It's very aura and hype moments. Which I think could be done interestingly. Elden Ring is not a good example of that. Something like, I don't know, EMC is a good example of that, I think. Because the gameplay doesn't suffer for it there. Gundyr is the only early Dark Souls 3 boss you like. I like... No. I don't like Eodex Gundyr. I think Eodex Gundyr is maybe one of the worst tutorial bosses From has ever made. Only because of the second phase. The first phase is great. I think one of the best tutorial bosses. But the second phase ruins it completely. It's so hard to read, especially on a first playthrough. And it does not teach you a good way to play the game at all. Vort is a lot better as a tutorial boss, but is also not very good of a boss. Especially because his hitboxes change completely in phase 2 for no reason. Crystal Sage sucks. Curse-Hearted Greatwood sucks. Curse-Hearted Greatwood isn't that bad. That's probably the least offensive early game Dark Souls 3 boss. First phase of... Oh, Deacons is not great. Yeah, Vort is fine, but... then like... oh my goodness, it's in there somewhere. My brain is functional sometimes. What's the... Abyss Watchers. Abyss Watchers phase 1 is interesting, but not done very well. And then Abyss Watchers phase 2 is... bleh. Wolnir is boring and annoying. Demon King is fine, but not great. Vort, not Vort, Yorm. Ugh. Yeah. Abyss Watchers phase 2 feels so... It's like it wants you to use positioning, but none of the game has taught you to use positioning outside of arguably Crystal Sage. I don't understand Wolnir's hitboxes. You just gotta roll. The game gives you enough iframes that it doesn't really matter when you roll, but you just gotta roll. And break the single bracelet on the right arm first, because that's the one he pulls out the sword with. I like some Stormruler fights. I think Everdark Maris is the best example of a Stormruler fight, but King of the Storm is alright, if a little boring. I think oh my goodness. My brain is non-functional today. What's the Elden Ring one? Rykard. Rykard has had a really good idea and a really bad execution. Okay, and now we go to here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about here. I got the the fire hitboxes force you to use positioning, but the game does not teach you to use positioning before that. And that as a tutorial for positioning is not well communicated at all. I've had times where Wolnir attacks constantly, pulls out the sword as soon as one of his bracelets is broken, summons skeletons immediately. But then I've also had fights where Wolnir does literally nothing. Have I 100% at Dark Souls 2? Kind of. I've gotten every single achievement except the Master of Miracles, but I've gotten all the miracles in separate playthroughs. I've just never gotten all of them in a single playthrough. Yeah, if Rykard didn't have his second phase, third phase, like Raincore Call thing, he would be a much better boss. And if he also didn't have his nearly instant, like, ground shockwave attack. Rykard is such a good idea and such terrible execution. It's cool to have like a very action-focused Storm Ruler fight, and I think Maris does that so much better. I don't think... The main problem I think most people have with Maris is that she's in Night Rain and not a traditional Souls game. I think if Maris was in Elden Ring, people would like her a lot more. Everdark Maris, specifically. I really like base Maris as well. I know a lot of people don't, but I'm full of hot takes, apparently. Because Williger doesn't sell the faction spells in base game. Ugh. Ugh. I am never 100%ing Dark Souls 2 vanilla. It's not exactly difficult to get to New Game Plus Plus, to be fair. Especially if you just get a million soul memory from fighting the Rotten a couple times on each new game. I gotta pee. I'm gonna get to the bonfire, and I'll be right back. Probably refill my water bottle as well. I have a smaller water bottle now than I used to. And then I will try to at least get to Shrine of Amana. I will try to get past Shrine of Amana, but we'll see how long that takes. Open the goddamn door! Oh my goodness. There we go. I swear I'm good at the video game. I just need to pee and I'm having trouble focusing because of that. This room in vanilla is completely empty, by the way, which is really funny. But I don't want to have to deal with that. That's... I'm gonna stop talking before I say something I should not say on YouTube. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty good damage, especially for base game. I'm sure... Well, actually, DLC doesn't have insane elemental resistances. I forgot this is Dark Souls 2. I don't know. We'll see. I'm a little bit worried about, like... I don't fight Guardian Dragon. I'm not really worried about anything, actually. Intended upgrade curve? What do you mean? I will be right back. before I get too distracted talking about Scholar. Hold on. I'm back. Let me set everything back up. um, okay, and let me catch up on chat a little bit. Has the worst Titanite progression? Wait, Dark Souls 1 has the worst Titanite progression? I forgot my brace, hold on. Yeah, okay. I think Dark Souls 1 has the best Titanite progression by far, just because if you're following like intended progression, you're gonna... The biggest issue for me is the large ember being locked behind the depths, but most large Titanite shards being in sens. But otherwise, if you're following progression, and like especially if you're killing enemies as you go and everything, you're gonna be at a specific level that the devs plan for, you know, through most of the game. I think Dark Souls 2, but if you know what you're doing, you can also skip that progression entirely, right? By intended progression, I mean like, what, in my opinion, the game communicates most clearly, where you start with the Berg, which has a lot of, I don't know, tutorial moments, things that are directly related to the Asylum, for instance, like the plunging attack on the Taurus Demon, which is meant to teach you how to, you know, pay attention to your environment. You can use your environment to your advantage by doing something that you literally just did with the Asylum Demon. It also has, like, arguably the easiest enemy layout of any of the levels that you can access that early. And then going into the Parish, and then doing the basin. Not the basin, sorry, the garden. Since the garden and then basin lead straight back to Lower Berg, and then Lower Berg depths, and so on. If you do that and don't like wander into any areas with enemies that'll kick your ass, you'll end up at a very standard level through the whole game. As opposed to like Dark Souls 3, for instance, I think has probably the worst progression, because you are stuck to +3 until you reach or I think you could get to +4 before you reach Irithyll. And then once you reach Irithyll, you're immediately at +6 until the Lothric Castle. And then you're immediately at +10. Or, you know, you can just in order to skip the progression, if you know what you're doing, you have to fight the Dancer. You have to fight a late game boss. And then none of the rest of the game is a challenge, as opposed to like Dark Souls 1, where the knowledge to skip that progression also comes at the cost of having to do multiple difficult things. That might kill me, yeah. I was being greedy. We have to do multiple different difficult things that also require you to have a lot of knowledge, as opposed to one boss that is substantially more difficult if you want to skip progression, right? I value the freedom to progress as you want and to affect the difficulty in a way that is fun for you, as opposed to Dark Souls 3, where it's either really hard and then extremely easy for a long time, or the exact same difficulty no matter what you do, without, you know, finding that answer early. Because I just think that's really boring and really, really hampers replayability. I think Dark Souls 2 is worse than Dark Souls 1 in that way, though I think the progression in that way, like aside from Titanite, I think progression is more down to like levels than weapon upgrades, especially like getting weapon buffs and infusions and having multiple weapons and everything. Whereas in Dark Souls 1 or 3, the vast majority of your damage is gonna come from weapon upgrades and not buffs. So I think in terms of scaling, your character scaling, your damage scaling, I think Dark Souls 1 and 2 are both very good. They just do it in different ways, and then Dark Souls 3 is really boring. Not bad per se, but boring. I think Demon Souls probably has the worst, just because it's so needlessly complex. Why did I pronounce like that? So needlessly complex. Especially if you want to go with certain upgrade paths or upgrade multiple weapons to different upgrade paths for different circumstances and everything. Though having multiple upgrade materials is also kind of conducive to having multiple materials, but with the way Dark Souls 2 does it, where, you know, you can get a sword really early on and then have, and then it gives you like the Craftsman's Hammer, which is strike damage, but upgrades with Twinkling Knight, you know, or like a Constellation. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think Dark Souls 2 encourages you to use multiple weapons in an interesting way, while Demon Souls is like, what the fuck am I doing? Elden Ring is also pretty bad, because it's really hard to tell where you're supposed to go, quote unquote. So even if it did the Dark Souls 1 thing, which arguably it tries to, just not very well, it's really hard to tell where you're supposed to go next because of how the early world is laid out, and how the later game, like, secret areas are positioned. So I think Elden Ring is also fairly bad. I think having an upgrade system that can't be circumvented in some way, like, you know, being able to get a plus 15 before a single boss in Dark Souls 1, that might be a little bit extreme. I think it's cool. But, you know, that might be a little bit extreme, for sure, for some people's preferences. But not being able to do something like that feels like it defeats the purpose of an upgrade system like that, because otherwise they might as well just keep everything the same scaling. Because otherwise it feels like artificial progression, right? If that makes sense. I guess it does encourage exploration, but I think it still feels artificial unless there's a way to bypass it like that. And the way Dark Souls 3 does it just happens to be the least interesting for me personally. I guess in that sense, you can't really bypass Dark Souls 2's. You can to a degree, absolutely, but in the way that most of your progression is going to be coming from getting levels and different stats for weapon buffs and stuff, I think the way you can bypass some of it, but not all of it is somewhat interesting, but levels feel a lot less artificial, I guess, than pure weapon damage, though, too. Because unlocking new abilities as you level and choosing what abilities you value most to unlock, you know, survivability as opposed to damage, as opposed to more damage types, as opposed to having an easier time dodging or whatever. Like, I think that's interesting in its own way. Yeah, I started using the Claymore in my first Elden Ring playthrough, and it's a good weapon if you know where upgrades are, and if you don't, I had like I think a plus 12 on Fire Giant, where, you know, you're expected to have like a plus 20, I think. Oh god, that was awful. But you can't, though. I mean, you can get a plus 9 almost immediately, but you still have to go through half of Mount Gelmir at the earliest, right? Or go down to Noxtella, or like go to the mountaintops, right? You have to play through a significant portion of the game to max out even a somber weapon. You can get a standard weapon. In order to get a standard weapon to plus 25, you have to either beat Moog or go through Ronnie's whole quest, right? If you want to do it before the mountaintops. And like, because those progression paths are all available at the same time, it's so impossible to tell where you're supposed to go, especially with how early you can get to Mogon Palace. It's like, if you decided to do that early because you did Fare's quest, ugh, awful. And even then, like, the moment you notice that the orange circles on the map are mines, it's like, okay, I go there for upgrades, and then you immediately get to the max level you're quote-unquote supposed to be for that region. Yeah, if you do anything optional, Elden Ring's progression falls apart hard. Like, if you don't go to the Weeping Peninsula immediately, there's no reason to ever go there. There's not enough resources there other than like the tiers to justify that. I am not doing well against the Looking Glass Knight, huh? Oh my goodness. He's summoning. Okay. Oh, barely did it. But yeah, like if you're exploring in Dark Souls 1, you go to Andre, you notice upgrades, and then you can go down, beat the Moonlight Butterfly, and then immediately get a key that leads you directly back to the lower burg, right? I am on the hacked server, and I do not have Watchdog. But I have been banned for a long time, so... When is the next Return to Drang Lake? I actually don't remember. I think I looked it up, but I completely forgot. Yeah, my account's been banned for a very, very long time. But I do have a second Steam account that I have that I have played Dark Souls games online with. Elden Ring is kind of bad replay. I agree to a point. I think it has a lot of really interesting weapons that are really fun to use. I'm gonna go upgrade stuff first. So it makes me want to replay it and use those weapons, but going back through all of everything, like upgrading your weapon every single time, is so frustrating. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna burn all of these. Until you hit the bosses that aren't fun, yeah. I like some of the DLC. I don't like Letta and post Letta. I don't like okay, I think it's easier to list the DLC fights I do like. I enjoyed Mesmer, and I really, really, really like Romina. I liked, let me think. What are some of my favorite DLC bosses? I don't even know. It's so hard to explain what I do and don't like about Elden Ring because it's so intertwined. I like Putrescent Knight. I think that's a really good fight. I like Gaius. Romina is the Centipede Lady. Yes, that is my favorite boss in all of Elden Ring by far. Yeah, you can go to her super early. I don't think her being weak is a negative though, because you can go there early and have a decently long fight, or you can go there super late and shred her, which is also very fun. What makes Mr. bad? I think there are parts of Mr.'s fight that I don't like. Like the crazy fucking snake explosion halfway through phase 2 is so awful. But other than that, I think there's a lot of really good things about Mesmer's fight. I think it flows relatively well. It's like Melania, but better. I think Mesmer is Melania, but better. I don't like most of the Legacy dungeons in Elden Ring, to be honest. I think Stormveil is fine. And the Academy is fine. Oh, that kind of bad. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Mesmer's waterfowl equivalent is good. Absolutely. I like that one. Though he does kind of use it a little bit too often. Yeah, his damage is fine. I think the Halig tree is awful. If you count the Red Main Castle, if you encounter it at the right time, it's not great. What was I using for my first DLC run? It was the Great Sword of Solitude. And I really loved that run. That was really fun. I've gone through it with the Guardian Sword Spear. I've gone through it with a couple other things. I went through it with the Claymore once. I don't know. I've gone through it a lot, and my opinions have definitely changed. In my first playthrough, I hated Mesmer, and I hated, I don't know, I hated most of the DLC. I hated Gaius as well. Gaius? Yeah. But now I like both of them. Putrescent Knight, I was kind of neutral on in my first playthrough, but now I really like him. I've always loved Remina, though. Every playthrough I've done, I've liked Remina. I've seen a lot of hate for Gaius, but I've never really got it. He's fun. Like, his charge can be a little finicky, but as soon as you learn how to dodge it consistently, I think it's pretty fun. The rest of the fight is good. I tend to go to Remina as soon as possible. Mostly so I can get Rao done immediately, because I hate Rao, because the spider scorpions freak me the fuck out. Like, I have bad arachnophobia. To the point where the lead up to... what's the level called? The city. The one below Inir Ilum. I have to close my eyes when I go through the entrance to that because of all the spider scorpions in there. I genuinely cannot handle it. Yeah, Bellarat. Bellarat? No, is it Bellarat? I thought Bellarat was the... I don't know. Point is, the spider scorpions, I cannot handle them. So I do Rao early. And I like Romina, and generally have like 3 to 5 minute fights with her. Maybe not that long, but decently long fights with her that are a good length and don't go on too long. I think Mesmer tends to go on too long. Bale especially goes on too long, especially if you don't summon Egon. I don't know. I think Putrescent Knight is one that tends to be a good length as well. And I also do that one fairly early most of the time. I hate Inner Ilum. Inner Ilum is one of my least favorite levels in Elden Ring. Oh my goodness. DPS check category, yeah. The music with Bale, Bale has one of the best soundtracks in all of Souls. Especially when he starts flying around in a circle. Oh. And with Egon's speech over the top of it. Incredible, incredible music. And that is the only good thing I can say about Bale. There are a lot of Bale's attacks that I find really frustrating. The dive is one of them, which is weird because I don't dislike Placiduous Axe's dive attack. I actually really like Placiduous Axe. I think Dark Souls 2 has the best music in the trilogy, for sure. I think Demon Souls tops it for me, but Dark Souls 2 definitely has my favorite music of the trilogy, even if it's not necessarily like the most iconic, because that definitely goes to Dark Souls 1. I guess Smelter is pretty iconic, though. Rude. Jeez. Yeah, I think most bosses in this game have really good music. Oh, I forgot that was a grab. Oof. There's a reason they call it Seaman of Dawn. Really need to get that spray bottle emoji on YouTube. I don't know if I have enough members for that or anything, though. I haven't really looked into it. Come on. Okay. I think I'm gonna get to the ditch, undead ditch bonfire, I think it's called. Excuse me, and I'm gonna end the stream there. I think that's a good amount of progression to do. And tomorrow we will finish it up, and I will the whole time be wanting to go play Deltarune instead. And I will be raving about it the whole time. I think it comes out at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And I stream at 12. Oh, I'm so excited. Have a good night, Fat Cup. Thank you for being here when you could. Yeah, Deltarune tomorrow. I am so excited. I just finished my chapters 1 through 4 playthrough yesterday. And all I've been doing has been watching Deltarune videos, Deltarune theory videos. If I stream Deltarune instead. I don't think I'm good enough at giving characters voices to stream Deltarune, unfortunately. A voice actor, I am not. I don't know, I guess I've never tried, but that's not true. I tried when I was a young child. And it was bad, because I was a young child, but I have never had the courage to try again. There was one series I did. There was one video I did a long time ago on a game called Zera, Myths Awaken. Long time ago. Like I think 5 or 6 years. No, it was like 8 years ago at this point. Way back on my channel before I started doing Souls content. And oof. Oh my goodness. And I did different voices for all the different characters in that. And that was really fun. To start reading aloud. Get good character voices fast. To be fair, when it comes to like playing these games quickly, I'm intentionally ignoring most of the game because I know where everything is and I know what I need to engage with to enjoy the playthrough and to like really get a good grip on the weapon, right? So getting this far in 3 hours, I don't think it's like particularly impressive. It's just like knowledge based, right? Maybe eventually I'll do I'll do a full game Deltarune playthrough on the second channel or something. But for now, I want to get to 54 and I'll grab Sunlight, play it off stream. Thank you all so much for watching. Got a war stream. Ooh, I could stream that. I could do a stream of the Blade of Artemis playthrough. That would be fun. That would be a fun second channel playthrough. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I love you all. I don't know how to end this.